An absolute guide on the dependent visa in Canada. Canada is the ideal choice for millions looking to relocate for work or study. But staying in the country alone is a discouraging factor for many. To solve this issue, the Government of Canada issues dependent visas to reunite you with your family. If you already have the citizenship of Canada or are a PR holder or a work permit holder, you can sponsor your dependent spouses, parents, grandparents, etc. Read this blog to know all details related to dependent visa in Canada. What is a dependent visa in Canada? A dependent visa enables you to reunite yourself with your dependents. With this visa, your dependents can stay in the country with you. After relevant permits, they can even study or work in the country. You can sponsor the following relations under the dependent visa in Canada. Your spouse or conjugal partner. Your children below 21 years of age. Your dependent parents or grandparents. Your child adopted from outside the country while holding Canadian citizenship or PR status. Your close relatives such as an uncle, brother, niece, aunt, etc. Your sponsored relations can also apply for a work permit to work within the premises of Canada. Eligibility requirements to sponsor a dependent. To sponsor a dependent, you should fulfill the following requirements. Be over the age of 18. Be a permanent resident of Canada or hold the Canadian citizenship. Not be taking government aid except in the case of disability. Be in the low income threshold. Your marriage with your spouse should be legal. Your relationship with your dependents should be genuine. General documents required for a dependent visa in Canada. Passport information and past travel history. Documentation to prove background. Documents to show your relationship with your spouse sponsor must also show proof of income to prove adequate funds. A completed application with a consulate fees. Eligibility requirements to sponsor a spouse. Must be over 18 years of age. Must live in Canada or plan to return once the spouse becomes a permanent resident. For the next 3 years, you should be able to support the financial needs of your partner, spouse. To sponsor your spouse, you should be possessing a permanent resident status, a work visa, or be a citizen. Your relationship with your spouse should be over a year old. This proves the reality of the relationship and that it was not formed only for this purpose. Can a spouse work on a dependent visa? Dependents are allowed to work in Canada. However, to work, you need an open work permit. Under an open work permit, you will have absolute freedom to work in any part of Canada other than Quebec. This permit can be availed only after your dependent has reached Canada. So, the advisable thing to do is to apply for a work permit or study visa as soon as your dependents arrive in Canada. Child visa to bring dependent children to Canada. Via the dependent visa, you can sponsor your children to come to Canada. A child that you intend to adopt within Canada. A child that you adopted while you were a Canadian citizen or a permanent resident living in Canada itself. Sponsors brother, grandson, sister, granddaughter, or nephew if they no longer have their parents and they meet the eligibility criteria. Eligibility conditions for child visa. The following are the eligibility conditions for a child visa. The child should be under the age of 18 and should not have a spouse or conjugal partner. The child must be the sponsor's biological or adopted child. Be able to prove that the child is dependent on the sponsor financially. Dependent children who cannot support themselves as a result of a physical or mental condition do not have an age limit. Be able to show proof of your relationship with your child. The children being sponsored should not have any pending criminal cases against them. Moreover, they would need to undergo a medical examination.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share and comment and subscribe to our channel.